Hello, my name is Paul Jegede. So I recently started working for RDF. My background is as a sports rehabilitator, but I have some history in basketball, I have some history in volleyball as well. So what I'm going to be doing with the team is just looking at some general conditioning of like the joints. Going to look at some flexibility. Going to look at warm-ups also, and then just some sport-specific exercise, which is going to help the athletes benefit from these sessions. So we're splitting it into 2 sessions. So there's going to be under 12s to under 14 session and a under 16 to under 18 session. So I hope you lot enjoy, and let's get ready. Okay guys, so for the warm-up we are going to start off by increasing your heart rate. So what we want to do is, this can be anything. So if you have a skipping rope handy, that would be perfect, be ideal. So it can either be skipping, we can do some jogging, we can just do some like squat jumps, mountain climbers, anything that you find raises your heart rate. So what we're going to do, so we're just going to start with 3 minutes of some heart raising exercises. So whether this is going to be skipping or not, if you're unable to do it for 3 minutes straight, then we can break it into intervals. So do a minute of high intensity, then do 30 seconds of medium intensity, back to a minute of high intensity, and then 30 seconds medium again. So it's going to start with some skipping. So there's different variations. We can do skipping, we can do double leg, high knees, and if you're really skilled, you can add some doubles into it as well. I'm aware that not everyone might have a skipping rope, so what we can do instead, there's 2 other exercises that we can do. So we can do some star jumps, or we can do some high knees. And so let me just demonstrate what they're going to look like. So star jump, start with your hands by your sides and out. And then the other exercise that we can be doing is high knees. So I'm gonna stand, feet roughly shoulder width apart, and it's, you really wanna make sure you're bringing your knees up. Make sure you're not letting your trunk fall forwards like that, keeping your body nice and upright. The next exercise that we're going to be doing, which is also going to help raise your heart rate, is going to be foot fire. So you lot might be familiar about this from practice. I'm sure your coaches must have gone through this with you, but I'm going to demonstrate it for you. So what we're going to do, feet roughly shoulder width apart. You're going to get into kind of quarter squat position, hands out as if you're playing defense, and on your toes as fast as you can. You want to keep your chest nice and high. So again, you're not going to be falling forwards like this. You're not going to put the pressure on your back, so you keep it nice and upright. So this is going to be done for a minute, so get ready and wait for the timer. So the next part of our session is just going to look at a bit of dynamic stretching. So this is just to help with mobility and just prepare the body for the session that we have planned for later on. So I'm just going to go through just a couple of general stretches that we're going to be doing, but further on in the session there is going to be a flexibility aspect to it. So what we're going to be doing at first is I just want to start with some sweepers. So this is focusing on the hamstrings. So gonna have one foot forwards, gonna go nice and low and sweep. Nice and low and sweep.
On the side, on the other side, and then...
So the leg at the back can have a slight bend in it, but it's the foot at the front you want completely straight. And with your hands facing forwards, you wanna try to sweep as low as you can and bring it back up. So the next stretch we're going to be looking at is going to be focusing on our quads and our hip flexors. So this is really important in basketball as you use your legs for a range of different movements. So for this movement, the first variation is opposite hand to opposite leg. So left hand to right foot, right hand up, and as you pull your leg backwards, you reach up. So I'm going to show you this from a side profile. So opposite hand, opposite foot, right arm, and as you bring this foot out like that, you stretch as high as you can. So the other variation to this is a scorpion stretch. So it's going to be same hand to same leg, and this is a harder variation than the stretch before. Same hand to same leg, reach up, and what I want you to do is I want you to try reach down towards your toes. So this adds a little bit of hamstring into it, but it really focuses on your quads and your hip flexors. Okay guys, so for the next exercise on stretch, we're gonna need something. It could be a lamp post, it can be a wall, anything that you can just kind of balance your body on whilst you're doing this movement. So this is going to start looking towards your adductors and also your groin and just like your hip mobility in general. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to hold onto the pole, and then there's two ways we're going to do this. So we're going to do it once facing either the wall or the pole, any object that you're holding onto, and then the other side we're going to be parallel to it, so our side towards it. So to begin with, I'll start parallel with it. So I'm going to stand, and then what I want you to do is imagine your leg is like a pendulum. So you're going to swing your leg forward and back. You're going to try to go as high as you can. Either way. And then we're going to change and do the same on the opposite leg. The second variation is when we are facing the pole. So you are going to have both hands or legs on and then you're going to swing across your body, making sure you're really opening up your hip. And we're going to do this on both legs. So a tip is when you're swinging your leg out, you're really making sure you're relaxing and trying to open up that hip as wide as it can go, and then you're going to swing all the way back through. The final stretch that we're going to be doing is going to be focusing on the calf. So this is just to get a bit of movement and mobility through your gastroc and soleus. So the movement we're going to be doing is you can find a bed, a chair, a table, even a wall. And then what we're going to be doing, we're going to have both hands pressed on it, and you're going to be feet next to each other like this. As one foot is up, the other one's down. And we're going through our movement back and forth. Really want to make sure you're pushing your heels down to the floor to get that stretch up your calf. Alright guys, good morning. It's time for our next session. So what we're doing is today we're looking at a lot of core stability, dissociation from the upper body and lower body, and then we're also going to look into a bit of shoulder mobility, and yeah, so get ready. Okay guys, so the first exercise that we're getting on with is called knee rock, something I like to call knee rock. So what we're going to be doing is we're sat on the floor with our knees together, and then all we're going to do is rock our knees from left to right. This is just to help with some lower back mobility, so your lumbar spine, so being able to dissociate that lower body part from your upper body. So the exercise is as followed. You ready? Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're just going to try and rock our knees as far to the left and to the right as possible without changing the shape of our body. So we're not going to go all the way over there. We want to try to keep our chest forwards, and then we're just going to rock the knees left to right. So the coaching tips for the knee rocks is very important. We want to keep our chest forwards. We don't want our chest to follow our legs. And this is important because it's helping dissociate our upper body from the lower body. And in basketball, there's a lot of movements where you can move your lower body where you want your upper body to stay still and vice versa. So tips for this is use your hands to balance yourself, get in a nice stable position, and then try go as far as you can. Having your feet together and rocking them over each other will also help with the movement. Okay, so guys, this is something that I like to call hip dissociation. So what we're gonna be doing is we are gonna be in a semi-squat position as if we're playing defense, not too low, not too high. So what I want you to do is I want one leg to go forwards as one leg goes back, and then we're just gonna be alternating this movement. In this, I don't want you to be twisting left and right. I want you to try to keep your chest forwards. So this is as demonstrated. So either you can find a line to do it on, or you can just kind of have a mental image. So what we're gonna do, feet roughly shoulder width apart, and then we're gonna go. See how my chest is not spinning all the way out like this. This is gonna be really important when you're playing defense in basketball. Being able to change where your feet are while keeping face on with your defender, it's gonna help you in the change of direction. So say they're coming this way, you're able to see them, you go like that. Say they cut back that way, you're able to switch your legs really fast and then go through the range of motion. Okay, so guys, coaching tips. As I mentioned before, it's really important to keep your chest facing forwards, because imagine this is your defender in front of you. You don't want to open your body and open your shoulders up too much, because if you turn all the way here and they decide to cut back this way, it's really hard and really long to be able to move your whole body weight back and switch and still keep in front of your defender. So what we're trying to do is we're really trying to increase the amount of time that you have to change direction while playing defense. So the progression that I added onto this is really important in this is really important to sort out your feet, because we understand in basketball we're kind of taught to sidestep with our opponents, which is good, but there's some situations, let's say that they're really fast off the first step. So this helps just to add a little bit more acceleration and being able to turn as you're able to run sideways faster than just stepping across. So it's really, you want to open up, step and cut across, open, step, cut across. So this is really important in changing directions and just keeping in front of your defender. Okay guys, the next exercise that we're going on to is mountain climbers. So in this position, we're going to be on our hands and our feet, and all we're going to be doing is we're going to be bringing our knee all the way up, all the way up. So in this really challenges the core, so we don't want to let our body be rotating from left to right. We want to try and keep a stable base, stable shoulder position as well. So I'll demonstrate it now for you. Okay, so guys, we're going to start on our hands and knees, and then all we're going to do is we're just going to come off of our knees, and we want to keep a nice stable position. So shoulder blades nice, and I don't want you to fall into your shoulder blades. Keep it nice and solid, and then extend your legs out. As one leg goes, we're going to bring that forwards and back. So it's going to be like you're running, a running motion. You want to try and keep your head forwards and try to stabilize your core. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that exercise. So on to our next exercise. What we're gonna be doing is a plank. So we've got front plank, we've got side plank, and then we've got back, which I will demonstrate for you lot. Okay, so what we're gonna do, a nice fixed position here. So you don't wanna let your hips fall in. You wanna keep it nice and strong, looking straight ahead. And then you're gonna hold that position. You really wanna keep your core nice and tight in this position. Okay, next variation that we're gonna be doing is a side plank. So this, we start with our feet on top of each other, and we wanna keep our body in line. So you wanna keep your body straight. What we're gonna do is we're gonna lift this hip upwards. So imagine there's a piece of string here pulling you upwards. What we're gonna do, pull up. We're gonna hold this position nice and tight. You're gonna start feeling it down the side here into your obliques. You wanna hold this position nice and strong. Don't wanna let your hips fall backwards or fall too far forwards. Final variation is the back plank. So in this position, everything straight forwards, elbows on the floor, and then you want to lift your body up. Keep it nice and tight. You're gonna squeeze your glutes when you're at the top and hold that position. Okay guys, it's very important in these exercises that you're keeping your body in alignment, so we're not letting our hips fall forwards, fall backwards, or fall inwards or outwards. So what we're doing is trying to keep a really tight core. So you want to just clench your core, clench your stomach. You want to squeeze your glutes together as well to really activate that core through the movement. Also, one thing that is going to help you is to be looking in the direction that you're facing. So you're not going to be looking down, looking to the left or to the right. Look directly in front of you. So on a front plank, keep your head up and look forward. Side plank, you're going to be looking to the side, and then back plank, you want to be looking upwards.
Cost.
Alright guys, so the next exercise, this one's going to be a little bit more tricky for you. So these are burpees. You might have heard of them before, but it's a really good exercise just to help with body control, and also it helps with your core as well as just helping general body fitness. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate for you. So we're not going to add the press up into the burpee. We're just going to start by, it's a jump up, kick out, and then kick back in, jump up, kick out. Okay, so in the burpee is really important. So there's different sections of the burpee. So at first we start with the jump. You want to jump, reach your hands up really high. When you've come back down, you're going to get into this position here, and you're kicking your legs all the way out. But then I don't want you to walk your legs back in to get to this position. From here, it is a jump under yourself. Then you go straight back up. So we're not gonna walk our legs through. Yeah, perfect. All right guys, I know that last exercise really got your heart rate up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna slow it down a bit more, some Russian twists. So this is also to help with dissociation from the upper and lower limb. All right guys, at first, if you are unable to keep your legs up while you are going through the motion, start with your legs down. And you're just gonna go from left to right. You wanna touch each side. If this becomes too easy, lift your legs up. If that is still too easy, you can hold on to something like a backpack or anything with a bit of weight onto it. And then what you're gonna be doing is going left to right, left to right. Okay guys, so the coaching tips for this one is pretty similar to the first exercise that we did. So what I want you to do is I want you to dissociate this upper body from the lower limb. So when you're turning to the left, I don't want your legs to be falling to the left or falling all the way to the right to add as a counterbalance. You really want to try and keep your core nice and tight in that position. So it's easier. So if you don't understand the movement at first, start with your feet on the floor and just go through the ranges of motion. And then after, then you can start lifting your legs up. And then if that's still too easy, add some weight onto it. I don't want you lot to progress too fast with these. I want you to make sure that you're doing each stage correctly. Perfect. All right guys, this is our final stretch for the day. It is the lat stretch. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be stretching the lats. This stretch really helps to be able to get full shoulder flexion. So being able to bring your arm fully extended over your head, as the lats is a limiting factor in shoulder flexion. So what we're gonna be doing is you need to find a bench, a chair, something that's just elevated. You could even use your bed, anything that's elevated. So what we're gonna do is we're going to kneel in front of said chair, bench, or whatever. So if you have like a broom, a mop, like even a foam roller can help. Anything that just kind of keeps your arms at a specific length apart. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna start with this. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna put it behind my head, just behind my head, not on my neck, behind my head. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my elbows shoulder width apart on the bench or on the bed, just behind the head. And then it's the same as before. So we're really gonna try and push our hips all the way backwards, push our chest down towards the floor. So coaching tips for this stretch is you really want to get into that real extension position. When you're in that position, you want to try and push your hips backwards. So you want to try and push it as far away from whatever you're putting your arms on. Keep your shoulders, your elbows at shoulder width apart, not letting them fall in, not letting them be too wide as well is very important. When you're in that position, arms behind the head, you really want to try and push your chest towards the ground, and you're really going to start feeling that stretch in that position, in the lat muscle. You're going to also feel it in your shoulders and just surrounding muscles around it. So the next exercise that we're going to be doing is child's pose. Child's pose is for shoulder mobility. It adds a little bit of spinal mobility into it, but it's mostly just to help with that shoulder mobility, being able to flex your shoulders all the way out. So it is as follows. Okay, so guys, you get into that same position you was in cat-cow. So what we're going to do now is just going to rock all the way back, so you're almost sitting on your heels. And then you want to stretch your arms out as far as you can. Okay, so guys, that was the child's pose stretch. So in this stretch, we're really working on that lat mobility, shoulder mobility as well, and a bit of spinal mobility. So what I want you to do is I really want you, when you sat all the way back, I want you to push your hands into the floor as hard as you can. Try and shift your hips backwards as far as you can. And I really want you to try and get into this real extension kind of position. So I don't want you to stay like that with your arms forwards. I really want you to extend through your thoracic spine, and then so your chest is really being pushed out, and then you're pushing as hard into the ground as you can. You should feel the stretch around here, and you should feel it in your shoulder, in the glenohumeral joint of your shoulder. Perfect. Okay, so guys, I hope you enjoyed the session today. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish off with a little bit of stretching. So today we are targeting shoulder mobility, and then we're also just gonna be looking into a little bit of like the core as well. So just making sure that we have good spinal mobility also. So this is how it goes. So the first exercise, the first stretch that we're going to be doing today is called cat-cow. So this is to help with your spinal mobility. So it's as it goes. We are going to be starting on our hands and our knees. We want to get a neutral shoulder position. So for this, it is hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And then you want to drop your shoulders all the way in, and then you find that kind of central position. Now what we're going to do, as our back goes up, our head curls downwards, stretch all the way to the top. Then we come all the way down. As our back arches, our head comes up. Okay, so guys, that was the cat-cow. So coaching tips for that is you want to try and get a neutral shoulder position. By doing this, it's just going to help get you into a nice strong position. So what you want to do is you want to let your shoulder blades drop in at first. You want to push them all the way out, and you want to try to find that midpoint between them. You'll feel your shoulder blades really engaged in that position. And then what we're going to be doing is, as we arch our back, we want to bring our chin as close to our chest as possible. So we want to look down as we arch our back. You want to look up as high as possible, so it creates that arch throughout the whole spine. And that was the cat-cow. Okay guys, so this is going to be the last main exercise of our program for today. So what we're doing is pogos. We touched on this last week. This is just some variations of the pogo. So at first we're going to start with the same generic pogo that we did before, but then there's 2 more sets of different variations, and there's timings that we're going to tell you during the sets. So this is how it goes. So and the next variation that we're going to be doing is we're going to be going sideways. And then the final variation that we're going to be doing is we're going to be alternating our feet front and backwards. So guys, as mentioned before, so pogos is really just to help with like that tendon stiffness and tendon strength when we're going through jumps and even changing direction. So what we're doing is we're not adding excessive bend into the knee when we're landing. We're keeping our knees relatively straight. You can add a little bit just to kind of soften it up, but most of the movement is coming from your foot attacking the floor. And then what we're gonna be doing when we're doing the side to side ones, you can just go side to side, or you could put a cone in the middle or even a small hurdle and just go over those, or you can just have a mental image. The one in changing directions is the same as hip dissociation. Keep your chest facing forwards, keep your chest facing there, and then we're just changing positions, front and back. Okay, so guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's session. It was a really interactive session today, looking at core stability, dissociation of upper limb and lower limb. There are really important exercises that this is starting to get the foundation to building you up to be an elite level basketballer. So if you keep doing these exercises and these stretches, you'll start to realize a real change in your game, being faster, being a bit stronger, being a bit more mobile, because mobility is very important in sport, especially getting into that nature when you're younger. It helps when you're getting older, less injuries and less kind of aches and pains. Hope you lot really enjoyed it, and I hope you lot found it really interesting. If you have any questions, I'm Coach Paul. Come and find me and we can speak about it. Hope you lot enjoyed. Have a great week.